What is up, race fans? My name is Owen, and welcome back to the Ben Fender podcast. And in this one, I'm doing something a little bit different. So, over this year, I've been recording all the time penalties and penalties all the drivers have been got in the races and in what races. But it's only like penalties during the race. So it's not like so I didn't do grid penalties from like qualifying or practice, just like the time penalties or the one stop and go penalty that happened. So with that being said, let's get to all the drivers that didn't get penalties first. Yeah, I guess. So there are 6 that did not get penalties, and those are being Charles Leclerc, Carlos Sainz, Esteban Ocon, Franco Colapinto, Liam Lawson. Oh, no, never mind. Liam Lawson did. And Jack Doohan. Jack was only in for like one race, but I don't think he got a penalty. So 1 or 2 races. Not. But yeah. So going on to all the drivers that got penalties. I'll go from least to most. So the driver with the least amount of time penalty was Zhou Guan Yu. He only got 5 seconds of time penalties in the 24th race of the year. So the last race of the year. Then there are a bunch of drivers who have 10-second penalties. I'll go from the bottom to top again. So Valtteri Bottas has 10 in the very last race. Liam Lawson had 10 in the 23rd race. Bearman had 10 for... I should also say how many they had. So Zhou, Bottas, Lawson, and Bearman all have 1. Bearman's was in the 21st race. Fernando Alonso also had a 10-second penalty, and he had 1 in the 11th race. Then Logan Sargent also had a 10-second penalty in the 5th race of the year. He also got replaced after the 15th race of the year, so that's the most he could have accumulated. Going on later, we had George Russell, who had 2 5-second time penalties, so he had 2 penalties for a total of 10 in the 19th and the 23rd race. Then we had Checo, or Sergio Perez, who had 2 5-second time penalties for a total of 10 in the 2nd and 20th race. Then we had Yuki Tsunoda, who had 2 5-second time penalties, so a total of 10 in the 10th and 19th races. Then for the last tenor, we have Pierre Gasly, who had 2 5-seconds in the 3rd race and the 19th race. Going on to the next, we had Nico Hulkenberg, who had a total of 15 seconds of penalties, and he had 2. So he had a 10-second and a 5-second in races 10 and 16. Then we had Lando Norris, who had a total of 10 seconds of time penalties, but he had 3 penalties, so he had 2 5s, and then he also had a 10-second stop and go. So he had those in the 11th, the 19th, and the 23rd. After that, we had Alex Albon, who had 2 10-second time penalties for a 20-second time penalty total. So he got, and those were in races 7 and 23. Then next up is Daniel Ricciardo, who had a total of 20 seconds of time penalties, and he had 3, so it was 2 5s and a 10. And those were in races 9 and 16. And he also got replaced after race 18. Going on later, we had Oscar Piastri, who had a total of 30 seconds of time penalties. And he had 4 penalties, so 2 10s and 2 5s. So he had it in the race 19 sprint, the 21st, 22nd, and 24th. After that, we had Lewis Hamilton, who also had 30 seconds of time penalties. He had 3 10s, so 3 penalties total. And that was in race number 6 sprint, race 11, and race 23. After that, we had Lance Stroll, who gets the bronze medal place for the most amount of time penalties, as he had 35, and he had 4 penalties, so he had 3 10 seconds and a 5, and those were in races 5, 6, 15, and 23. Going on to the silver medal position, we had Mad Max Verstappen, who had a total of 40 seconds of time penalties, and they were all 4 10-second ones, and those were in races 11, 20, and 24, and which leaves the gold medal for the most amount of time penalties to Kevin Magnussen from Haas, with double of Max's. He had a total of 80 seconds of time penalties, with a total of 8 penalties. And those were in race 2, 5, 6, the sprint 6, 10, and 16. And he also got a 1 race ban. So he didn't race for a race, which is wild. But yeah, so I wanted to do this last year. Completely forgot to record this. But yeah. So with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Also, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year for everyone watching at this time. Thank you all very much for watching. Go check out my other channels. One being my main of Fan Rant Tan, and the other one being a D&D one that is under the Boundless Shores. Please go check those ones out. And I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you all for watching once again, and peace.